Hello, how's everyone doing? If I'm giving side eye, it's because I'm looking at my laptop. I need some sort of shelf system so I can put my laptop right here. And then it'll look like I'm looking at you and chatting with you. But until we have a brand new kitchen, we probably can't do that. Anyway, I hope you all had a great holiday weekend, whatever you ended up doing. If you were in a spot that you could visit people, or if you weren't, I hope you had a great weekend. And I'm really excited for this episode of my live cooking demo because it's all about snacks, and snacks are awesome. And I'm usually never more than 5 feet from a snack, so I guess you could say I'm an expert with snacks. So, and it's New Year's, so it's always good to have snacks around at New Year's and have a little party. And obviously, this year's been a little bit different, but we can still have a wonderful New Year's and hope for a very, very good 2021. So now I'm checking my chat because everybody is talking about how much they love snacks, which I guess I'll just let you do that and I won't look at the chat. But I'm very proud of myself, although it doesn't look like the people I follow on Instagram, but I have made the coolest party platter today. So I'm going to show it to you, and I'm also then going to show you how to make one of the items on this because the other items are pretty easy and I don't need to do a whole video on them. So, someone was saying chocolate snacks are number one. There's no chocolate on this platter. Barb, I am very sorry. And anybody can have snacks as long as they're healthy. So these are mostly healthy. These are not 100% whole foods like I've been trying to do lately, but they're almost there. So I've been kind of showing it, and you can't see it because it's on an angle. So let's just do one of these things. Look at that. So this is the party platter that I made. And it looks delicious, and I really am excited to eat it in about 15 minutes when I'm done with you. So I am going to show you what all this stuff is. So here's some hummus that I made on my own. So again, you can make hummus so cheap at home, and the trick, so I'll give you some tips while I'm showing you this. So the trick with hummus to make it taste really good like you like is to soak the garlic that you're going to use in lemon juice first. It'll cut the bitterness of the garlic, and then blend it for far longer than you think is necessary until it is so smooth, and add a little bit of water. You don't need to add oil, you can just add water. So basically that's chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, garlic, and I had some smoked seasoning salt that I used. So that's my little bowl of veggies with hummus. And then here I've got some smoked tofu, which I always thought was kind of like smoked Gouda cheese. So I have some crackers with it there. And then here I have some buffalo cauliflower. So this batch of buffalo cauliflower turned out very good. I don't bread it per se or deep fry it, which is amazing. If you have a deep fryer, go for it. So this is cauliflower that I bake up, and I put some Frank's buffalo sauce, which is actually vegan. And then I put a little bit of cornstarch and actually cornmeal into it, and then I tossed it and baked it. And we've got some ranch dressing here. So that is that. And what we're going to make today are these little puff pastry things. So this is filo dough, which is crackling all over the place. And it's got fillings, which I'm going to show you. So one of them is sort of like an Asian meat substitute filling, and the other one is sort of a Tex-Mex cheesy filling. Most filo dough, let's stop looking at my pointing finger, but most filo dough brands, if they're not like the ultra butter brand, are accidentally vegan. So just check the ingredients. I got this stuff, I believe, at No Frills, but I have also bought it at Metro and Food Basics and stuff like that. So just make sure that you just check the ingredients, and then you have this amazing vegan party platter. And for me, like, that would be something to share with Frank and have maybe something a little bit extra, and that's your dinner. I like doing that sometimes, or you can bring it out for snacks if you have more people living in your house. Or next year when you have a giant party, you can make a huge one. So that's it. So that's what we're going to make. And there's so much stuff all over my counter. I had to exit the screen in order to get rid of that stuff. So the two things that we're gonna make is the Asian style filling for the puff pastry, and then we're also going to make a cheesy filling, and then I'm going to show you how to put it together so that it looks all fancy and stuff. And the puff pastries, when I did my taste test earlier, are very messy, but who cares? This year it's just you and maybe one other person in your house. Who cares what you look like? So let's go for it. Lots of chatting. You should make hummus, Graham. It is delicious. Actually, the best hummus recipe, if you want to follow like a full recipe, because I just glossed over it, the Edgy Veg YouTube channel did a really amazing hummus recipe that turns out really good. She has a couple of other tricks. That's where I got the lemon juice and garlic trick. So the first thing we're going to start with is the Asian stuff. So we're going to make this kind of, it's going to end up being like a kind of pork or pork style filling, and or just delicious mushroom filling. You can call it whatever you want. So I have chopped up mushrooms, and then I actually have about just under a quarter. I'm just using whatever I had left, but this is like just under a quarter cup of chopped walnuts. And chopped walnuts will actually, when they're cooked, get this really like firm texture, and they're awesome. So I'm going to throw this in a pan that I have, and I'm going to turn you guys down so you don't have to look at me anymore. All right, so we've got our mushrooms in our pan, and then we have the walnuts. So we're going to get those cooking while we do the other stuff. So we'll throw that in there, and I'll try to get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to have that in the pan. I have it on medium-high because I'm trying to cook it fast, but I don't have any oil in here yet. The mushrooms will give us enough liquid and it's fine. And then one thing I did do to prep, if I can get some light down here for you guys, is this is onions and garlic cooked down. So it's not too much. You don't need too much, but this is about half an onion and a clove of garlic all cooked down. And we're going to put half of it in here eventually, but I'm going to do my other recipe with half of it. So we're going to use everything up. So we're going to just split that in half. We're going to add that to the blender. This is for the cheesy filling. And then we're going to save that somewhere over here where it doesn't burn me. And then we have our tofu. So this is extra firm tofu. It's about a quarter of a block of tofu. And then what you can do with the rest of the tofu is use it in your ranch dressing. So we're going to crumble that in as well. And if there's any liquid, it's fine because you probably need a bit of liquid. All right, so then to make it a bit cheesy, we need something tart. And we need more light over here. There we go. I guess the light just makes it look romantic. Okay, so to make it tart, to taste cheesy, we're going to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Right in there, capful or teaspoon. And then I'm also eyeballing this. Sorry that there's no measurements. I don't usually cook like that. And we're going to squirt some lemon juice in there. And I am going to put a little bit of salt because I haven't put it in anywhere else, and pepper. And then for this to make it Tex-Mex, I have just a bit of this taco seasoning, but you can use whatever mixture you like. And this is totally neutral. So if you want to make this dill flavored, if you want to put like herbe de Provence in it, if you want to do whatever flavor, you go right ahead. So we don't need too much of this because it's pretty potent. And then we're going to blend it. So I apologize again for the loud noises. Ba-ba. And let's mix this. So we're just going to let those mushrooms cook down while we blend this. Oh, it's vibrating everywhere. So now we have a smooth texture, and I see the chat going wild, but I think my friend Jess just came in and we're making puff pastry filling. So I'm just going to mix this around, and I'll probably Yep, it tastes pretty Tex-Mexy. I'm going to blend it down some more just to get rid of all the mushroom pieces, but if you wanted to leave it chunky, it's totally fine. When we cook it in the puff pastry, it'll firm up. There we go. So that is looking pretty good. Nice texture. You can blend it as long as you want, like I said. So these are still going down. Again, I've got enough moisture. Nothing is burning. Don't need oil for this, although there will be oil in it later. That's a spoiler. And then now we have the rest of our onions and garlic. We're going to throw that in here too. And then I have a bowl for my cheesy dip. And there we go. Geez, guys, I'm sorry this is, the video looks a bit dark, but hopefully you guys can see everything okay. So you can see the kind of texture that we have there. So that's one dip. Let's get that all out. I'm going to have a big cleanup to do after this, I think. But that's okay. All right, here we go. Still cooking this. So we're going to just put that aside while we finish up this stuff. We have to season this once it gets cooked down a little bit. So let's just see. Get a little bit more light in here. Goodness gracious. All right. So this is cooked down pretty good. Again, the onions are already cooked. I just batched them together because I needed them for the cheesy dip. And so they're already cooked. We're just waiting for the mushrooms to cook down. So they're doing that pretty good. So now how we're going to season this is a couple of things. So one of them is sesame oil. So that is, I think, PC brand. You can see there. So a little bit of sesame oil. So it's a nice flavor. And we're going to put a little bit of the liquid smoke in. And then I also have my, I don't know if you can see that. So that is my everything bagel mix. So that has white sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, garlic and onion chunks. And we've got salt and pepper in there. And I think poppy seeds. So that's going to go in as well. So we can actually just put this right in. Just about a tablespoon. And then we'll put just a drizzle of oil. You can put as much as you like, but a little bit goes a long way with sesame oil. And the same with liquid smoke. A little bit goes a long way, so just a dash. There we go. And oh, that smells so good. Sesame oil is like my favorite. I know I'm trying to like cut back on oil sometimes, but sesame oil is the best. It just has so much flavor to it. So we're still letting that cook down a little bit here. We'll turn the heat down. And classic newbie mistake, I totally forgot a bunch of ingredients in my cheese sauce. So I'm going to show you that now. But you can put it in the blender or you can mix it around. So the thing that I missed, and obviously we're trying to make this like a cheesy sauce. So I did get the tartness from our apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, but to make it really cheesy, how could I forget to put nutritional yeast in it? I don't know how I forgot. There's too much going on. So I've got nutritional yeast in here, and I have onion powder and garlic powder. So I'm going to add that to the cheesy sauce now. And that's okay to mix it in after. It's just obviously way easier to do it when you're blending it. So when I tasted it, yeah, it tasted Tex-Mex, but it didn't get the cheesy stuff in it. You could also in this, which would be a really nice treat, is to get some vegan cheese and shred it in, and then it would get nice and melty, but this will get nice and firm with the extra firm tofu. Okay. And I'm eating some onion off the counter. So the cheesy sauce again has tofu, It's got apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and then we have nutritional yeast, taco seasoning, onion powder, and garlic powder. So there's that. And then I'm going to turn the heat off because our onion mixture is done. So to recap on this, we have onions and garlic and mushrooms. And then we fried that all down. And then we added our seasonings, which was sesame oil. And we added a little bit of liquid smoke. And then we added our everything bagel mix. If you don't have everything bagel mix, you can just put in nothing. Or you can put in a few sesame seeds or hemp seeds or whatever you like. And then, of course, we have also the walnuts in there. So now comes the fun and messy part, which I might also mess up. But now we're going to do the puff pastry. Or sorry, the filo pastry. So again, the filo pastry is different from puff pastry. It's the really thin sheets. And it's the one that everyone always freaks out about because they dry out or whatever it is. So a lot of people, I think, are probably afraid to use it, but it's really neat. You can do it in puffs like I've done, or you can make little sort of samosas out of it. You can make rolls out of it, like the spanakopita. There's so much stuff you can do with it. So don't be afraid to use it. It's actually pretty easy. And like I said, a lot of brands are accidentally vegan, so it's amazing. Oh, yes, everyone is commenting on my beautiful scarf and necklace, which was a gift from my dad who's in the chat there. So you can thank him. He always picks out great stuff. And I probably missed a whole bunch of other chat stuff, but that's what I caught. So let's go down. I'll show you real quick how to do a fancy puff. But again, like I said, you could fold it in different shapes to get a triangle, to get less of like the poof out the top, because that's the stuff that's messy. There's lots of ways you can do it. So let's check that out. We'll do that real quick. And another thing I just thought of is you can put dessert in it. So you could put like chocolate and fruit in it. You can do so many things. So it's really cool to have a bunch of this in the freezer. And I actually froze it in some tin foil. So you don't have to use it all. You can save it. It's pretty easy. So let's check it out. I'll give you guys some more tips. So here is the filo pastry. And one of the things you do want to be careful with is that this will dry out fast. So you do want to follow what everyone says and get like a wet towel. So what I have is this wet towel, and then I had frozen it in this tin foil before, and then I had it in like a bread bag. So you can see that it comes in all these little sheets, and this is where everyone's freaked out because they think the sheets are going to break. They won't break if you do stuff fast. So we're going to take 3 sheets out of here. Just throw that to the side like that. And then you want to fold this back up with your sort of damp towel. Keep the paper on it and just bundle that up and put it to the side when you're not using it. Super easy. So again, you want to work quick, but don't freak out. It's okay. It is okay. So now what we're going to do to make these puffs, they're going to be fairly big because it's, it's a good dish to have even for dinner. We're going to cut them in 4 like that. And these are not exactly squares. I saw some TikTok video where it's in perfect squares and whatever. We don't have that going on today. But what you're going to do is lift the sheets and you're just going to put them off side. Real simple. I really like doing recipes where it looks fancy. It looks like you did so much work, but it was so cheap and easy. So I love this type of stuff. So again, just put it off side. It's not going to be exact, but you're going to bundle it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Nobody will know that you were using mostly rectangles and not squares, unless you tell them. So don't tell them. All right, so now we're going to do 2 of each. Hopefully you guys can see that. Da, 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 da. Look at that. Super easy. So we're still going quick, but we're not freaking out. I'm freaking out because, oh, here we go. We'll use my tablespoon. So what you want to do, so I'm just cooking for 2. So I always like half recipes. So you can do this. I just split this into 4 and put 2 and 2. But if you want to measure it, or if you're making smaller ones, you can put as much or as little filling as you want. So there's our 2 cheesy ones. And then this is a bit warm, so we're just going to be careful with this. And actually, maybe I'll just put it on. if it burns out the bottom, I'm going to eat it anyway. But you want to cool this down. So we're going to put this in. Again, we want to make enough like this. So you can put more or less than that if you like. So you just want to make sure it's kind of in the middle. So then now to bundle these up, we have to use a little bit of moisture. So you want to have like a little finger dish of water. And we're just going to dab a little circle around each thing. You don't want it too wet, but you don't want it too dry. Then we're going to fold in the middle and hold it. And then push this side in and tuck it in and squish it. And then you can do the same with the other side. Take the middle, tuck it in, and squish it. And there you have your little bundle. So they will come a little bit apart and they'll spread out even when they bake. But if you just pinch it kind of hard, it should stay together. And then as soon as you get them all together, throw them in the oven or put them in the freezer. So I'm probably going to freeze these ones and actually have them on New Year's. But don't pinch them too hard because one of them I did and it squirted out the bottom. Anyway, there's our little puff pastry. I'm going to put that on my cookie sheet. So what you can do is just put them on a cookie sheet if you're only doing them a few days ahead and just leave them in the freezer on the cookie sheet. So again, we're doing our little circle. We're going to fold and hold, pinch in the middle, and then cinch it. And then again, we're going to pinch in the middle and cinch it and just give ourselves a nice squeeze at the top. Don't squeeze the stuff out the bottom. And then that's our little puff. So let's just quickly do these ones. We do our circle. Fold and hold. Pinch and cinch. I'm going to have a TikTok about this. So we're going to pinch and cinch again. And we're going to we're going to strangle it a little bit, cinch it all together. And there we have our puff. So the last one, we got our circle of water. And then we're going to, I think I have to copyright this. Fold and hold. And then pinch and cinch. So again, we're going to pinch and cinch. Fold and hold, pinch and cinch. So you can see it's probably drying out a little bit, but it's not a big deal. It'll all cook together. And because we used ingredients that weren't like super liquidy, it's not going to like explode out the sides. So make sure that, it is fairly dry, whatever stuffing you put in. And then you can always have a sauce on the outside. So then these go on a cookie tray. So this one fell over a little bit. But if they're falling over, you can just put them together and they'll all stay up while you bake them. And then they'll come out really awesome. So that's it. So that is something that looks super fancy. If you made that as a side dish or put one on everyone's plate, it's going to look really cool. So like I said, I'm going to make the rest of these and put them together like this. And then I'm going to put them in the freezer right away. And that's it. It's so super easy. You don't have to be worried about it. And now I have this extra stuff. I'm going to put this in the fridge until I make the rest of them. You can freeze it. You can also do the triangles, like I said, so you could cut it in quarters and then you have a square-ish shape that you can make into a triangle or a samosa shape or whatever you want. And it's such a versatile thing to have in the freezer. And then if someone comes over, you look like this pro making these wild puff pastries. So now it's time for the taste test, and they are wildly messy, but we're going to do it. So one more time. So I think some people may have logged in late, and we're going to show them. Here's our tray. We've got our hummus. We've got our ranch dip and buffalo. We've got smoked tofu and crackers. And then we have our puff pastries here. So something that I like with the puff pastries is that sweet chili. So that would be good to dip these in because the ends do get a bit dry. I cook them. I like cooking them crispy, but you could probably go a little bit less. These were put in at 375 for like 10 minutes. They started getting brown. So you could go even less if you like. They're going to cook up and basically you could eat them raw anyway. So, all right. Now I put this scarf on because it looked awesome, but it is just a perfect catcher for crumbs. So I'm going to take that off and throw it on the ground, which is clean, but I'm throwing it on the ground because I don't want to get crumbs on it. So the one that I want to try is the Asian one because I love that flavor of sesame oil, my favorite. Okay. You guys ready for this? Are you ready for this disaster taste test? Okay, let's see how it goes. It's going everywhere. So first I'm tasting pastry. But now I got to the mixture. That is so good. That mixture actually would be good on toast. It would be good inside dumplings. It would be good inside egg rolls. That's amazing. So I just kind of made this up today because I was like, I need to do snacks. But let's see if you can see in there. Look at that. The texture with the walnuts is amazing. You could also probably, if you wanted like a bulkier feeling, you could sort of mulch down some cauliflower would be really good. But the sesame oil in there with the mushrooms and the walnuts is amazing. The top come off. Well, thanks for sitting through me eating like a messy person. But that is it. So I will post the recipe exactly what I put in because, again, I just kind of wing it most of the time for my recipes. But I will write it all down for you, and I'll put it in the description of this video so you can always go back to it. And on a final note, at this last couple of days of 2020, I just wanted to say how grateful I am for all my friends and family who always join in. And just the fact, I hope I don't tear out, but like just the fact that everyone I know is for the most part happy and healthy and they're here and they're around, even though we don't get to see each other, even though we haven't like gotten to the habit of having daily video chats, I still think about you all and I'm really grateful you're around and I really appreciate the support for my videos and my channel and watching every week and chatting with each other. And it just brings me a lot of like joy and fun. And I hope you guys have fun with it as well. And that you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. And that when we go into 2021, we all just kind of learn about gratitude and realizing like what we have in life and that life is so short and you just need to do what's in your heart because life is way too short to waste it. And we have not wasted this year sitting around in lockdown if you have thought of those things and you're putting those things into action in your life. So that is it. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to clean up this disgusting mess and then I'll probably go back to that puff pastry and eat the rest. And hopefully there won't be so much all over the couch when Frank gets home. So bye, everybody. I love you so much. And we'll see you in the new year. Bye.